Being comfortable in your own skin is fashionable.
What's fashionable is coming from the confidence of people who create it.
I have lingerie shoot on my Instagram. I want to take pictures to see myself and be like, dang, that's a beautiful person right there, and that person's me. If you can't look at yourself for like 20 seconds and be like, wow, you are gorgeous, then there's something that you need to work on, and it's validation for yourself, of yourself, and for yourself. If you don't like it, guess what? There's an unfollow button. You ain't gotta like it. I could block you.
People are unique because of what's inside of them, and not because of like labels that society attaches to them. Action. It happens. This season 2 Sublime Studios podcast. Today I have someone from the industry, someone who I worked with quite a bit over this year, and someone who is actually very interesting kind of personality, which I discovered by mere exposure, right? By basically talking to you more, and then a bunch of different locations and occasions. So I'm with Laia Albert today, and Laia Albert is she's a model, but she's also a car mechanic, I would say, right? And also a security person. A lot of different skill sets, a lot of different, I would say, engagements, and a lot of different the dimensions to your personality, and that's what we're going to talk about today, as well as your career progression on the modeling side. But before we dive into all that, like, how do you feel about today?
I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel tired.
Yes, and it's been a long day.
Very long.
And it's not even over yet, right?
Not even close.
Yeah. So, I think, do you remember how we met? It was, what?
I think it was an audition for the Sublime fashion show.
Yeah, but like I think we've met earlier at the Dahlia show.
Yeah, at the Dahlia show for Dope Soul.
Yeah. So Lucinda,
Lucinda.
the designer who you talked about briefly today, was doing a show. I'm going to put Lucinda's link. You guys can check out very interesting creations in the clothing.
TSB swimwear. Gotta go check her out.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. And since then, I want to say that you've been a terrible girlfriend since then. You don't reply, don't text me, don't call me first. I'm just sitting at home and crying. But seriously, you are one of the people who knows how to make really strong first impression.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so that's why I remember you well. And now when I discover your personality a bit more, this kind of adds additional layers to the way you present yourself.
A lot of layers.
So you came to my audition for one of the shows I've done, and you've done great. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough spots to hire all the people, all the talent I was able to see there. And in your case, I would say you have very interesting, unique look to you. And clearly you have a very specific niche in the modeling industry because of that. And we can also talk about any kind of biases you've experienced with this. Yeah, but like, I know that there is a lot going on in your life. So I know you are trying to raise money for your like help with your knee. Can you tell us more about what's going on there?
I already had 4 knee surgeries.
Wow.
I've done sports, so I've done volleyball, basketball, softball. I did a little bit of football and soccer on the side, growing up from like junior high school, middle school, elementary. I started in 4th grade. And so I had my first knee surgery freshman year. I didn't wait the duration that you're supposed to and went straight into basketball after volleyball. Retore and re-injured, had a second surgery. That was junior year. Graduated, messed it up again, another one, 4th one, and now they're saying that they want me to have a 5th one. And this one's going to be a partial knee replacement. So
ridiculous.
I'm on the verge of do I really need it?
Mm.
Do I want it? Or am I just going to try to like live through what I have going on? Because I'm not going to let it stop me from doing what I need to do, as well as what my passion is.
So when they went in 4 times, were they just trying to restore the connectivity of the joint to make it more stable, or like what's the whole point of getting into?
I tore my PCL, both sides of my meniscus. I had a graft. I had to wait for somebody to pass away to make sure that their
donate
ligament was mine.
Wow.
I had ligament shaved down a lot in just one knee, so it's just the left knee. It's not even the right one. So
wow. Wow. So okay, now you're considering to get the 5th surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Like my experience with doctors and specifically with surgeons, they say, hey, so that's what happened. That's the current state. So you can just suffer through this for the whole life, or we can get in and make it worse. Your choice, basically.
Exactly. And it's always that second one. We're going to go in there. We're going to fix it. We're going to say, that's all you need. And then a few months later, why am I still hurting? You know, why am I still in pain? And it's like, oh, well, you know, we don't know. How don't you know? You're a doctor.
Yeah.
So that just doesn't make me want to get a 5th one.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like skeptical on trying to figure out, do I go for it and then end up getting a 6th one? Who says, you know? But then that process is a lot of pain. You have to learn how to walk again. You need help going to the bathroom, showering. And that time and everything that's going on right now, it's just, there's so much stuff.
So the recovery is even worse than the actual problem then. Sounds like. Yeah, that's tough. It's like every time you have to choose between accepting help, it usually comes with a lot of suffering.
A lot.
After this. Amazing. Okay. So yeah, as I mentioned, you are a multifaceted talent, and you somehow are able to do both the modeling part, you know, and the security. So you're trying to be, I would say, more sophisticated and artsy and gentle. At the same time, you kind of have to be tough at the same time. I don't know how it actually works together in you, and you probably can talk about how do you manage to do both?
Well, for modeling, I try to make everything like mornings and afternoons. I work grave shift for security. So I work from 9 to 6 a.m. So everything I try to do is like either right after work and then try to get some sleep. Sometimes I get like an hour or 2 a day and I'm trying to like live off that, or like today I haven't slept at all. So security helps, you know, really pay the bills. Modeling is just a passion that I'm trying to actually make, not like a job, but like a job.
Yeah.
So until I get to where I need to be in that field, I have security, and I've been doing security for 4 years. So going on 5.
But you've been doing modeling
for 9.
For 9 years.
Yeah.
And then this. If you have to choose, I think you kind of will go with modeling.
Once I get paid more.
Right.
I can't like be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like stop security and then go straight to modeling. I just feel like that right now won't be the smartest tactics to do. So if anything, if I had to choose, it would be more of security, and I'll give it a break. And then when I get everything financially ready and actually have everything set in stone, then I could jump right back into it. And hopefully, you know, those that I know that I work with now will welcome me back in, you know. So for right now, it is more about financial and stability rather than passion and goal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think based on what you told me, I think you have the path forward. If you can sacrifice those last 2 hours of sleep, then you'll definitely make it work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But seriously, sleep is seriously underrated.
What is sleep?
This is the foundation of health in a lot of like mammals and a lot of animals. And I mean, it's tough. And we'll talk about what it takes to actually make any money in modeling. There's a whole section on the agenda. Like another cool thing is you are a car mechanic. Not, I don't know if you're certified or anything, but I did see you doing pretty amazing things with your car. And just the less funny story is
Hello. So my car broke down, but luckily we have Eugene here. He helped use his jumper cables as well as his car. It's all got started. We're all good to go. This is what happens for being security for 4 years.
question for you is like you feel comfortable working with like mechanical components of different mechanisms, right? So is it something you kind of grew up with, born with, or you just developed this passion over time?
I like progress it over time. I rather like try to do stuff by myself rather than always ask for help. If I'm ever stranded or need help with something, at least I know how to do it myself instead of being stuck there for hours. So I know how to do my own oil change. I can change my own brakes and rotors. Obviously, jump start. I did construction for 4 years, so I can build something, you know, if something breaks or I could fix it. Like I have all my tools and stuff in the car. So it's like if I need to change into a spare, pull over and ride on it. People will be like, oh, do you need help? No, I know I'm good. I can do it. So I just feel like with women nowadays, we have to be able to do this ourselves because you never know the time and the place where you might need help. And if you can do it yourself, then hey.
Yeah, and you would be surprised. It's like when everything goes well, you feel really like good and about yourself and comfortable and everything. As soon as like minor thing, like, you know, like you need a spare tire, majority of people are just helpless. What they do is, you know, they call like, you know, AAA, Geico, whatever, like roadside assistance. Because like how else would you do it? I mean, there are books for that and so on. So it's definitely like I think it's a lost skill, lost craft of doing things yourself. More of maybe like previous kind of century with all the services we have now. It's definitely it's a bragging point for you for sure that you can do this.
It's a cheaper point as well.
Yeah,
a lot of
financially wise.
Yes, you save a lot of money if you do it yourself. Obviously, you want to do it the right way instead of just guessing and guesstimating things. But if once you understand and you know it, cheaper way.
So is it just one car you're working with, or do you help your friends? Do you think it can grow into like a body shop?
Probably.
Eventually.
I mean, I've had after I did my oil change, oh, do my oil change, or oh, can you show me? I'm like, there's also YouTube or like DIYs, but I'm very open to helping, figuring out what your car type is, and helping you along the way if you need help or if you need roadside assistance. Like it's not a problem to ask for help.
Yeah.
If you don't understand and you don't know it, you know, it's never a problem to ask for help. And I think a lot of people have difficulties doing that. They feel like they can do it themselves, and they don't feel confident in asking and speaking up. So they hide their voices, and that's totally okay.
A lot of voices are being suppressed for sure. And it's a combination of things. One of them is like they just don't want to come off as incapable, right? So I mean, I'd rather just, you know, like pretend like I have no time for that, right? Instead of going into this. And another one is, I mean, that's understandable. Like say, if it's a complex mechanism, there are so many chances. The chance is high that you can break things, right? And if it's an expensive mechanism, then the repair from your attempt to repair might be even more expensive. So there is this thing. But I think it takes specific kind of like specific mindset and specific attitude towards just willing to do things yourself and being brave about that. Hey, I mean, I take accountability for what I do, and even if I break something as I go in, it's up to me to fix it later.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's definitely something. It's an admirable quality.
Just like, some people wouldn't know how to jump start a car. They think that, I'm going to get electrified. I mean, if you do it the right way and you know how to, positive and negatives, we learned this when we were little. You just follow the steps, do it right, and you'll be fine. But, some people might not have the common sense a little bit. I don't know. It's been slow lately about common senses with individuals.
Yeah. It's, I wouldn't expect common sense to mean the same among different people.
Yeah. So it's like, if you need help, get help.
If you need help, don't call Laia because she will not help you. She's busy with her own stuff. Awesome, amazing. All right. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today about your life. Well, we have a couple more things to go over, and I'll just sprinkle it in and out. So one of them is you went to LMC, and like now, I think it was 4 years ago you mentioned.
Yeah.
Like now, 4 years after, do you find your education helpful in what you do? Did it even happen to you that? To start with, what's your major?
I want to do psychology. I want to help people. I like listening to people, listening to their stories, and not just that. When you help one person and you hear their stories, what they might need is somebody that understands them. And so when you have that and you're able to take what they have as well as yourself and help another person and continue that, a lot of people don't understand that somebody's story can help them. So I want to be that kind of person that is always there for them, not the type of person that sits there and is like, how does that make you feel? Like nobody wants to hear that. Somebody wants to know that you're actually listening and you actually have not just feedback, but advice to help them and you understand where they're coming from and you can actually support them and be there for them and actually listen. A lot of people don't have really good listening skills, and I think a lot of people need that in this time. So I want to be that person there. So I do want to go back to school for it and major more in it. I know there's a whole bunch of different types of psychology, and I need to make sure I find the right one that I focus more on. But till then, I need to obviously save the money to go back to school. But for right now, I think observing and actually communicating with people and talking to people and doing modelings and helping out with fashion shows and all that stuff. I feel like me jumping and socializing, it helps me better what I want to be in.
Yeah.
Rather than, going in school and learning there. I just feel like, yeah, you can learn at a desk, but you're not going to really learn the right tools if you're not out there actually using them or doing them.
Yeah, taking action, applying what you learned, for sure. Yeah, and I think being able to listen is one of the most fundamental human qualities that you can possess. Unfortunately, as soon as you start charging for that, you need a license.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to go to college and
get that degree.
Spend money to make money. That's capitalism for you. Speaking of capitalism, so let's go into main topic of today is you've been doing modeling for 9 years. Did you start because you felt like that's your passion and that's who you want to be 10 years after? Or what was your motivation considering going into this?
Family.
Interesting.
They were always like, you're such a chocolate baby. Like, you'll be great in the world as a model. Like, you can speak for those that, look like you, that don't have the confidence. So I started out with a 2015 teen pageant. Out of 300 girls, I got 5th place. I just couldn't fight a Florida, Orlando because of money issues. So kind of stopped there and then just did fashion shows off of school, got in a newspaper, and then just continued from there doing a little bit of photo shoots, kind of stopped for a bit and then focused on trying to go to school and get more money for it. I did apply to try to do a Disney, but they were asking for way too much, and as well as when I wanted to give them a portfolio photo, they were like, "Oh no, you need to take our pictures from our photographer. Like you can't use it from anybody else." Now that's extra money.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you guys are asking for way too much money just for some photos, you know? So kind of like stopped there and then kind of like jumped right back in there. And I was just like, I'm actually going to do this. You know, I see a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I'm too shy, I can't do this." And then along the way, you have people that, you know, you're too dark or you can't do it or you don't have the walk for it, or you have some designers that are one ethnicity and they only work with their own ethnicity. So you have those either of color or of different ethnics that is like, it kind of puts them down, you know? So it's like, I want to try to be that person to not like change, but influence as well as help those of color, of different ethnicities. It's not just, you know, brown. It's not just any other color. It's literally everybody that's seems like they're different. I want to help those. I want to help teach them. I want to, you know, inspire and help those that don't have a voice. And it's like, if you have a dream, don't be afraid to do it, whether you have support or not. If you know that that's what you want to do, nobody's stopping it but yourself, you know? So if I let that stop me, or if I let anybody else stop me, then I wouldn't be where I am today.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, and I think you're raising lots of topics which deserve coverage. There are clearly challenges. Like we have examples of successful women in this industry who are maybe a bit different looking compared to what the traditional image of a model is. And I think one of the good examples would be Tyra Banks.
Right.
And she went all the way from like a challenged family all the way to like she became. It's very difficult to become. Back in the day, like now it's very different. But back in the day, it was very difficult to become Victoria's Secret's model because of very extreme criteria applied to those girls. She made it all the way there, and then she had her own show, America's Next
Top model,
right?
But they were like around that time, they were still kind of like picky. They were still going back to, she's too big, she's too old.
It is always like that.
Yeah.
You see? And the reason for that is because there are always like younger and maybe younger, better looking, better walking, like girls out there who are, behind the door in the line to those auditions.
Right.
Like why the casting director needs to choose you see? And like I've been doing my auditions for a while now. I do believe that representation of different talents is important, and that's what makes a good show. But I also know that maybe bigger shows have more specific criteria set on them by either their clients who pay them money and they expect specific kind of look for the models on the runway,
right,
or the designers. Like one thing is, when the designer comes in, she or he usually says that, hey, all my dresses are like that size. I don't have anything bigger or smaller or shorter or taller. So I need all those girls to be of that size.
Right.
So give me this kind of girls. You see? So unfortunately, we have a lot of examples where if you look a bit different, then people will not give you a chance. You see? So I kind of wanted to, like, not now after 9 years of doing that, like what is your experience? Have you experienced it on yourself, like all the biases, and when people don't even get back to you and don't tell you what's up, or maybe even worse than that? So like, why did you like they become a negative towards you? So can you talk about this?
Of course. For some fashion shows, there's like the requirements that it's like, oh, you have to be 5'7" and above.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not 5'7", but With heels, I am.
Aren't you really?
I'm 5'5", but with heels, I can be 5'7".
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or I can be 5'8", and I can walk in heels very well, So to say that you have to personally be a certain height, you don't know what type of skills somebody could have with whatever is given to them to make that criteria, or, oh, this dress doesn't fit you, you're too big. Okay. Some designers don't know how to word that correctly, and you could hurt somebody's feelings. What if somebody's been working out, they've been trying to have a diet and all sort of things. And I understand that some people is like, well, my dress is just this. But you have to also take accountability, as well as there's people's feelings that are being involved in this. As well as I do understand that when it comes to designers, it's not technically about the models, it's more about the designers that we're showing off. We are a walking mannequin, but at the same time, we help get that outfit on the runway. You know what I mean? It's not like you could just hold a hanger and be like, yep, this is my dress, and buy it. You got to see it flow. You got to work with what the designer gives you. Not just that. I've had designers say, oh, your complexion is too dark. It doesn't fit in with this color or this line. And it's like, but you didn't even, give it a try. You didn't see, or you pick those, of course, as I said, the same ethnicity as you because you speak their language, because there's always either a language barrier. But that won't always be the case. I recently was just in the SVFW, the
Silicon Valley Fashion Week Star Alliance Culture.
Yes.
Think Chang. Great show, guys.
Very great. If you guys weren't there, you missed it. Wait for next year. It's going to be bigger and better.
Every time, like every year it's becoming bigger. But just to give you like a hint of what's, if you've missed that, 15, 16 designers, right? How many? And like close to like 50 models were there.
More than 50 models.
Yeah.
For
we
just
8 hours. 8 hours.
8 hours.
I was done by the end of the day.
I had woke up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Got there at 8:30 when rehearsals, when the day of the show started. We had to be there at 9. Didn't leave the whole thing until 8:30 at night because of my car issue. But besides the point, amazing people, obviously, especially if you're working with a lot of professional people and they know what they're doing, as well as you could help them along the way, because everybody sees things from a different perspective, right? Nobody can see what they're doing, unless they have a mirror. So it's like there was just a small like conflict, which was language barrier. So yes,
primarily because majority of organizers and majority of models were speaking Mandarin. Yeah, so I wonder how it went with people who don't speak Mandarin.
So it was kind of exactly like me too. So it was kind of off. So the one thing for me that I like to do is, if I see nobody helping understand what I did backstage was, hey, do you need help with this? Because, obviously the names that we're saying was a little bit off. So I was like, here, I could help you. I got the sheet. Okay, ladies, if I call your name, stay on the other side. We're going to get you guys ready for rehearsals. And then we're going to do this back to back. Got the ladies ready, helped the designers. In line, I would focus on the designers and the backstage manager and just focus on like what they're saying, even though I didn't speak their language. I was, hand movements, and then I look at a model that spoke the language and I was like, are they saying, they want us to do this? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. She was like, do you speak it? I was like, no. But I'm getting off of body language. And so once they said that and I just saw what was going on, I asked the model and I'm like, okay, ladies, this is what we're going to do, da, 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 da. And then right before ladies went on, I'd help fix their hair and then I'd get right back in line. I'd help their outfits. Okay, ladies, as soon as they finish walking, let's get ready for the final walk. Once you're done, this is the next designer. Please get out of this outfit, put it on the hook. or the hanger, and let's get into this outfit. If you're in this one, I'll call your name. And that's what I was doing all backstage throughout the whole show.
So it's like coordinator.
Mhm.
It's like that person, like on the actually like the airplane runway, right? There's a person with those.
The flight attendant?
Yeah,
Or, on the...
not the attendant.
Yeah.
The person who shows where the planes which lane the planes need to take,
Right,
so
with
they
the
can like,
lights and
board and
stuff.
so on. Yes.
Mhm.
So I know the name of this very underrated, very important profession
Very.
as well to prevent any kind of chaos. Great, and it would be much easier if body language would have mean the same across different cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it almost the same across pretty much any kind of human species, because the spoken language was kind of came up as a tool to express things which are not possible to express with body language.
Right.
Like you have your body for like a million of years, but your language exists maybe 50,000, something like this. So yeah, I think if you put an effort, it's maybe easier to understand what people in general want, but those details is what is missing if you don't know the language at all.
Right.
So
Right,
I think jumping in and taking accountability for somebody who is maybe a bit less experienced
Mm-hmm.
clearly made the show possible.
Yeah.
It's like I can't imagine 8 hours of just being focused and trying to change clothing and like the I haven't been to the backstage, like when media is not allowed to be in the backstage.
Mm-hmm.
But because I was standing close to those curtains,
Right.
I was able to hear what was happening behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really intense. Like it looked very like smooth as soon as you walk outside
Right.
on the podium, but yeah, behind it was like it's always all about work, all about trying to understand each other and so on.
You had little ones from like toddlers running
Yes,
around, and then
yes,
you
yes.
had like older models, because they were like older women that were models, not a part of the team that we were in, but they were there. And so it's like, if you're not your turn, you move out the way, because like you have all these people trying to get on there, get ready, people behind the curtains, trying to see one small little mirror because everybody's clogging the ones in the bathroom. And it's like, okay, are you getting ready? Nope, you're not in that one. Did you change into this one? And it's like, it's so hectic. And if you have somebody that is, okay, ladies, I need you guys to do this. Oh, and then you have a model come up. I need this. Yes. Okay. And then get right back. You have to be able to just manage everything around you as well as manage yourself, because, you might have some people be like, why is she telling me what to do? And that's fine. It's just, if you don't listen, you're not going to know what's going on, right? You can't understand what's being said if somebody's not speaking as well English that you would understand. You know what I mean? So if nobody's going to put their feet in those shoes, don't worry about it. I will handle that. And so at the end of the show, everybody, said I did a great job, and I had a nickname of Backstage Mom.
Amazing.
So, yeah, they kind of want to put me on. So I'm like, that would be a step. I've already directed a fashion show before for Raw Reams fashion show. It's an African fashion show. So this will be my second thing of trying to direct and put together or help.
Yeah, and I think it also might be a development of your modeling career when you kind of like want to do your own things and you want to take organizational responsibilities. Yeah, I've heard that specifically the Silicon Valley Fashion Week that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, like 2.
A lot of senior models were able to step up and actually make the show much smoother and make the show happen in such a good way. It looked really good outside.
Right.
I will have to give credit to everybody who organized this. Yeah, cool. But okay, so outside of runway, so runway is so-called like editorial kind of modeling, where you go for very like sophisticated looks, very like high fashion kind of presentation and so on. So it's more for the sake of art and for the sake of just being there and creating really cool digital media from that. But then there is also the commercial side of modeling,
Right.
which is paid shoots, maybe ads, maybe magazines, maybe like if you want to go and like collaborate with some designer, and designer wants to put this on their like promo page and whatnot. So commercial usually has a bit more money, but it's also a bit less, I would say, engaging, because it's more like they want you to do specific things. There is no like ability to step left or right and so on. So were you able to engage in commercial shooting much? And like what is your favorite out of those two?
Yeah, I did both. I would feel personally editorial is more of less poses, like just like keep it there. You know, you're only either, if you're working for a designer, then, you know, only show the outfit. It's not really technically about you. You know, you're just technically kind of a body. Commercial, it depends on who you work with. I feel like commercial, you can be more like freely, like some designers, when you put on their outfits, they want you to be more flowy, you know, they want you to be more lively, show off how their outfits actually work, you know. So I kind of like both. It shows both sides, you know. It shows the fun side that you could have, and then it can show that you could actually put yourself together and be a boss in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can have your child self and your kid self and have fun, and then you can have your adult and
your mom's side.
In my mom's side, yeah.
Exactly. And I think you're also bringing it up. So modeling industry happened because I think it was close to maybe 200 years ago when, well, of course, in Paris, everything happens in Paris. And there was a very fancy dressmaker back then. And instead of using actual mannequins, he hired young ladies to stand in the window and advertise.
Right.
So this was the very first application of like human model to showcase the clothing. So in French, the model means exactly mannequin. So that's sad because it kind of tells us that, hey, the things didn't really change that much since then, right?
Right.
But it also if you have those kind of qualities, which you can pull off this, you know, walking mannequin kind of thing, you might have what it takes to actually get to success.
Right.
In specifically in the editorial, where you are just walking hanger.
Because there's been a lot of changes. You have people that like to sway a lot. You know, their arms just have a mind of their own, and it's like kind of like keep it to your side a little bit, you know, depending on who you're walking for. You want to just, you know, body straight, you know, that whole broom in the back, keep it. But that's at the same time, that's more like pageant wise, where you're like walking chest up, you know, position yourself well. Some other fashion shows are more lenient, where they're like, okay, you know, everybody has their own type of walk, you know, as long as, you know, walk straight, you know, if somebody's walking to you, go to the right, they go to the left. So a lot has changed. And as we saw at the SVFW that, you know, age didn't matter. Yeah. Which age doesn't matter. If you want to still model, you can do it. You know, who was that one lady? What is it? Was it Betty? No, it wasn't Betty White.
Betty, yeah, she's a veteran for sure.
Yeah, she did a sports and she was on the front page, and she's 80 years old, you know, in a bathing suit, you know, so don't be discouraged. So like a lot of things have changed, and I think it's changed for the better because it helps open a bunch of windows and a bunch of doors. And once that door opens, you got to go for it. You know, whether you believe yourself or you don't, there's going to be people no matter what still behind you. And whether you understand it or whether you think that they're not there, somebody will be.
Yeah, and I think it's very common to kind of exist and operate in this environment of just people doing this for the fun part of it. And then if you elevate above, well, not above just, you know, kind of like derogatory maybe term here, but above means you can do things a bit better and also give back to the community. then that's where you can start maybe setting your own rates and your own criteria and your own rules.
Yeah.
Instead of just going for what's there.
Exactly. You could do so many collabs.
Yeah. But to me, collab means like, hey, I don't have any money, but I want to take some photos with you.
Yeah, like
Collab.
PFP, pick for pick, or trade for
time
a
for break,
pick.
TFP,
Yeah. TFP.
Term.
Pick for pick. TFP. So it's like you could do so much, and they're fun. Obviously, if you don't have the money at a time, it's great to give credit. A lot of people are either starting photographers or starting models, and they need that help of like figuring out, how to position themselves, how to pose, how to work with angles and stuff like that. So yeah, I think collabs are great. Collaborations are great. But once you actually find your window of knowing the directions as well as your poses, your angles, you found the right photographer to, get you looking good, then, once you find your worth, you can put money on it and, get some money. But, don't think that it's going to blossom fast. It does take its time.
It takes, yeah.
It takes a lot of time.
I wanted to like kind of learn about your like maybe weekly, day-to-day kind of like activities towards bookings things versus working the gig, right? Because like in my experience, modeling is a lot about like, hey, what is the next gig? What's happening? How do I get there? You see, so you spend much more time actually trying to book gigs than actually being there. It's maybe half a day. If it's a bigger gig, such as say, like New York or London, Paris Fashion Weeks, it might be multiple days,
right,
across all the runways. But usually it is a couple hours of shooting or whatever they are paying you money for, and then the long road to landing this.
Right.
So on average, like how often do you go to auditions how many auditions you go to per month, and in your experience, what's your success rate, and did it actually evolve in time?
They do evolve in time.
Yeah.
My rate, like monthly for like auditions or casting calls, I would say like my minimum is 5.
5 per month. Okay, so it's
for like just castings.
Yes.
So like if you just stay in one area, you're not going to get a lot. So if you try to...
And by area, you mean like what's the size of the area? Like Bay Area specifically?
Well, yeah, there's Bay Area. And then like if you move up, there's like Sacramento. And then if you move to like Orange County, like LA. So it depends on how far you're willing to go.
Yep.
So the best thing to always do is if you know you can't make it, always ask if you can do a virtual casting. Send in your walk. Hopefully a designer picks you. Then you're waiting until casting calls are over. Another way that could help you is if you really actually befriend a designer and a designer really likes you, they like your walk, they know that you're always there for them. They're going to be like, you're going to be a model that, I have. So 1, it could either help skip the castings, or 2, you still have to do the castings just in case another designer might want you to walk for them, but at least you have some type of leeway into a fashion show. Some of them, of course, you may not get paid, but you never know who's there in the audience that will see you. And those, it's great.
Yeah, you're a couple things I wanted to react to. So one of them is when you are a preferred choice of a designer. Don't you feel like it can be a bit unfair towards other models who are trying maybe a bit harder than you?
Probably. I think it's half and half. It also takes a model's, like, you have to be a great model to actually put yourself forth.
Yeah.
A lot of people, or not a lot of people, like I can't give you a percentage, but there are some models that is just, I'm just going to sit here. I gave you my walk. I gave you my photo. You chose me and that's it. If you want to be a great model and put yourself out there, hi, do you need somebody, do you need an extra model? Hi, I'm Laia. Do you need, can I help you with this? Do you need something, make yourself known. And if you don't make yourself known, how do you think you're going to be remembered?
Good point. Would you say that you get most of your gigs from meeting people in person compared to just social media advertising?
Social media is just social media. You don't know the person. You only see them of what they post. And a lot of people hide behind their phones. So if you don't go out and socialize and network, how are you going to understand that person and better acquaintance yourself with them? So I just feel like, me personally, I'm a social butterfly. So I like to, talk to people, and since that's a part of like a major that I want, and just go out there and be like, oh, hi, I'm Laia, this and this, or what do you like to do, or something like that. Don't give too much questions, but, just be yourself. And if you attract people, then that's, I guess, a plus for you, because a lot of people, they bring out negative vibes, and a lot of people don't attract to that. So my biggest thing is going out and experiencing and networking, and you never know who you might run into and what they do, and not on any using or anything like that. You could help each other in a way of like, oh, so you do podcasts. Okay, well, this could help, like if you need more people or more models, that could help talk about this and bring it up with their podcastings, they can now post it, say they have like 17K followers, and now they talked about your podcast, they're on it. Now people are like, oh, hey, do you need somebody else for podcasting? Like, we're helping each other out. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that is a better networking than I'm shy, I don't want to talk to anybody, very keeping to yourself.
Yes, and I think that's the best way to go about networking. Is there is time to take action in person for sure. Like if you see an opportunity and you just go and try to land it, right? But discovering opportunities, it's like, I think it's just you just kind of randomly go to like all kind of like industry meetups, mixers and whatnot. It's more about vibing and kind of hanging out together, just becoming a very like posh and sophisticated partying kind of event, rather than being more on target, on point.
Exactly.
So my point is that having a very, very strong, very loud social media profile helps you to get discovered. And then when you get like a DM or an offer or something, that's the time to go out and actually vibe and build connections. You see? So, and then you are bringing an example of like making content. So like podcast is a form of content. And like honestly, the long form will go on YouTube. Subscribe. The links are below. The long form will go on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't really generate you as much of attention and as much of viewership as shorter reels that are the derivative, the
grabs the attention of the audience.
So it showcases the ability to kind of hit things, hit the nail on its head in a short amount of time. So basically being on point. And specifically with models, what I want to do is that models are, unfortunately, as we talked before, perceived as walking mannequins, right? And what I want to say to the majority of the world is that there's also a personality, sometimes really big, hiding inside of this mannequin.
Right.
Okay, so don't treat them as objects. I mean, unfortunately, the whole industry kind of objectifies women. Well, not women, models, because there are also male models who are also being objectified.
Right.
Very much so. I had experiences where, okay, maybe I shouldn't go to this. So yeah, but the whole industry objectifies models.
Right.
Right. But if you treat models as people, you will have much better outcomes in the end for everyone. Your show will be better, and also the models will like you, and they will work with you much. They will be much more inclined to work with you next time.
Exactly.
You see, so podcast is a forum to kind of showcase this personality. You see, and I'm glad that you're raising so many interesting topics here, and we can go deeper, and also we can maybe create different communities and societies around this. And also when you are progressing in your career, which I'm going to be watching closely now, because as you grow, I grow, and the other way around.
We all help each other out, move up.
Then you would be leading. The further you are into something, the more you want to take leadership position. And what you've done for the Silicon Valley Fashion Week, you are showing your expertise, and you're showing your confidence, and you are leading a bunch of junior people, well, not in terms of age, but in terms of experience,
right,
towards better outcome, and that's what's important. Cool. I know, I didn't want to like jeopardize or anything. I think I'm just trying to emphasize what you're saying.
Of course, I just a small thing. It's not even just junior. There is a lot of women there that was at the fashion show that I've seen, and I'm just like, wow, I'm amazed of you.
Yes.
I've seen you. You do magazines. You're this. You're amazing. And I'm like, okay, ladies, and it's like, wow, they are seeing me as somebody that they will actually listen to. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're my inspiration, and you're, asking me questions on this. So. It's no matter what your professionalism, or like if you're a junior, if you're a senior at like fashion shows and all this stuff, you've done this for years and century, you're this years old or whatever, we still learn from each other.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a beautiful thing we learn something new every day. And we take from everybody, not in a bad way, but it's like, some people was like, I couldn't step up. I couldn't be in those shoes and help everybody like that. Like, it was just way too many models. I was telling like 40 models, get in line, this and this. And some people were like, I don't know how you do that, So I think it's a beautiful thing it doesn't matter where you're at, you still know to still ask for help.
Yeah, and also being open-minded to feedback.
Very open-minded.
You see, like that, it's difficult. You have to learn how to not feel like you're being attacked, not take it personally, but instead, hey, does it make sense? What if I try that? You see, so it takes mindset change, and like the older you are, the more opinions you have. But also keeping this flexibility of your mind and flexibility of even your own point of view. Right.
A lot of people can't take constructive criticism. And so it's like, if you're close-minded or one-minded, it's going to be hard for you. So it's like, open your mind, try new things. If somebody's like, hey, this, you don't technically have to do it. Just, give it a thought, see how far it can go or something. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I have a couple more things which I definitely wanted to ask you.
Of course.
So one thing is your general stance on the body art, like art of body, modifying your body, and you have a very, I would say, a bit more like kind of like sharper look, and I assume you like tattoos because you have some, right? And please talk about this. Talk about this, and then I'm going to ask you if you experienced any issues during the castings because of this.
I have 15 tattoos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a full sleeve on my right. I have like a half sleeve. It's all tribe going up to here. I have my thighs. I have my collarbones. So body art, I think it's art, You're letting somebody speak their mind as well as show what they have, and you're representing them. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, where'd you get that tattoo? This person, and that helps their business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're bringing more clientele for them. So it's like, yeah, I had a few, like some people, I did do a photo shoot, and a lady was just a designer. She was like, no, this outfit, you can't have tattoos, you know? So when I was trying to model with the girls, she was like, oh, your tattoo, like cover it up, like don't show it. And so it's like, you had to be like, kind of like this. And so it's like, I felt kind of like out of place. I'm just like, you know, if you need me to sit out, I can, you know, I'm like trying to like cover up, you know, some of the models are using their hands to try to like cover some of my tattoos so it doesn't show.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just like, geez, like, maybe that might not be the place for me to be. And that's perfectly fine. There's other places in the world or other places that I can do and be me, and they'll accept me and my body the way that I represent myself. So,
Yeah, and the reason why you are experiencing this is because like it goes back to this statement that models started as walking mannequins.
right.
Yeah. Yes, and if your skin has any kind of like coloration or, you know, any kind of like attention grabbing thing, it kind of takes away from the dress. And that's why the designers are feeling like they are competing with your skin, for example.
Right.
You see. That said, there are maybe not so many, but there are outfits that would ask for more interesting skin, right? So maybe like more like grungy, more like on the side of like, well, Lucinda's, for example, right? I think it works really well with her stuff. And overall, like if you're going for like kind of like bad girl kind of look, you know, this kind of asks for it, right?
Right.
So it's about finding the niche. Niches by definition is much smaller than general market, but this niche can also be, if you occupy the niche, nobody else will be able to compete
Exactly.
with this.
I just feel like it also makes you more unique than other women or other people. Because it's everybody, if you have a line full of like people that are like non-tattooed and they all are like petite, and what is that? How does that make you different? I mean, I understand like, you know, we're all just walking mannequins, you know, a model's a mannequin, but you know, if you don't change with the time, then where are you going to be stuck in?
Is it all about looks? I thought it's all about personality. This is how you stand out.
It's a mixture, and if you gotta multitask, you gotta be out there, and then it's at the same time, it's like, you know, don't have long nails, you could rip the dress, you know, don't wear too much makeup.
Nails, another question I wanted to ask you. Like you definitely love nails, I guess, right?
I do.
Yeah. So in terms of nails, how much of your effort goes into maintaining the nails, and does it come to you easily? Or like I know that in some cases, maybe like the nail bed is kind of like gets tired and the nail doesn't stick well. What's your experience with maintaining nails?
Well, I do my own.
Wow, I'm not surprised. You do a lot of your own stuff.
So I do my own. So if like say like a nail broke, okay, I'll do my own nail like within like 30 seconds. It's either if I know and I'm on my way home, okay, I'll grab my kit, and if I'm on a way to a photo shoot or something, I'll just do it in the car, and then hey, my nails pop back on. I'm not spending 180 on some bedazzled nails.
Yeah.
So I do my own nails. I do makeup. I help with makeup at fashion shows and photo shoots. I did teeth gems at one point. So I braid hair. I do hair. So
you are definitely, I would say, you mentioned you're probably very extroverted because you say you're a social butterfly, and you are quite adventurous at the same time. That's my kind of guess based on what I'm hearing. Were there things that you regret of doing in your life?
I regret certain people I talk to. Not just that, I kind of regret being, when I was younger, a people pleaser. So always changing who I was to fit in. And not just being my true self, whether people didn't like it or people made fun of me or any of that. Like I should have just been like, oh, okay, well, that's your opinion. And that's valid. You know, you have your opinion, I have mine. So back then I actually did take it, and I was like pretty hurt. So I just feel like that's something that I regret. I feel like I should have been more stronger for myself and been able to be supportive for myself and not feel anybody else's opinion like that.
Yeah.
That should really matter on that reflection of myself, you know? And I just feel, I always try to, let me hop from this group. Okay, I know people from here. I know people from here. And I was never in a stable group or a group of friends. And so when everybody, separated like high school or something like that, I didn't really have anywhere to go. So it's like making friends along as I go and figuring out, if they're true friends or if they're fake friends. So it's that, because I feel like if I actually would have like not taken a lot of things to heart, I feel like I kind of probably would have been like further, but I'm actually happy with where I turned out. I can be myself and figure out if you like me, then you like me. If you don't, then I can't do anything to change that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you sharing, not everyone is comfortable with sharing things like this. Did you feel difficulties with like fitting into whatever group of friends you had? Or were you always more like, hey, this is who I am. I don't really care much about how people see me. Like how was your experience with making friends, specifically in childhood?
It was more, I didn't really fit in. I didn't feel like I was there, growing up, like being in like junior high and high school. I didn't, smoke, I didn't drink, I didn't party. I was just strictly sports, sports and home, doing league sports and doing school sports. So literally right after practice, I'd have a game and then go straight home and then school. And then it was always just that. And so I didn't have time for like house parties and drinking with the friends or going out driving and all that stuff. So I didn't really have that type of bond, as well as I was always, hanging out with the teachers, being the TA, the teacher assistant and stuff like that. So I think that also kind of like put me not like back, but like a little bit different, because I didn't mind if I hung out with people or not. Like I would walk around if I see somebody by himself, hey, you okay? You want to hang out or something like that? Then they'll tag along, and then just like getting bits and pieces like that. So it's never like actually stayed in a group of circle. So
circles usually evolve.
Yeah.
And, if you stay within one circle for, there are like friends who you kind of drag along your whole life. But usually if you still stay within one circle, it's a sign of stagnation.
Right.
Because people tend to grow. And when they grow and the circle doesn't grow with them, then you are on the outlook for another circle.
Yeah.
So that's common. So like for me, I know I did have, I do see myself changing circles every maybe 2 to 4 years. So like people I was hanging out 4 years ago, they are doing their own stuff by now, and we don't really talk as much. So I think this is like natural, but it, if you are in the environment, and you mentioned that you would kind of like people pleaser. So you might get into the environment where people are kind of trying to take advantage of you, and you're kind of stuck within the circle beyond your desire to be there or not, but you cannot leave because of all the social pressure.
Right.
So do you feel like you've been taken advantage of because of your proclivities towards?
Yeah, it's either like I was very, like you need this, okay, I got you, or and if I was too nice, opened up, or then they'd use that against me, or like rumors and stuff like that. And so it was just it took a lot of toll, and it had many years to like try to get through and try to get over and try to have that mentality of your words should not affect me because I know who I am. Not only that, it's you don't know what I have to deal with outside of school or anything like that. So there are tougher times rather than having tougher times at school. So I then had the mentality of like, okay, cool, that's all you got to say. Oh, okay. Anything else? No. And then it became to me joking about myself, and people be like, oh, well, I didn't say that. Oh, you didn't have to. I said it for you, because I've gotten it so much. It's just like, it's a joke to me. I then started to laugh at what they would say about me, and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's all you got. You know what I mean? So, trying to prove like words aren't going to affect me no more, so finally got out of that. And now I'm able to have more, just like joke around more and have a lot of strength for myself.
Yeah.
As well as just be funny and just be myself now, instead of like trying to be like, oh, they didn't like me this week, let me just try to change and be something different next week. And then if they don't like that, then be something different. And I had to do that most of my junior and high school. And so I was just like, I'm tired of changing for people that aren't going to accept me for who I am.
That's validation seeking behavior. Is when you're trying really hard towards making people like you,
right,
and give you some like positive reinforcement of what you do back. I think with social media in modern days, unfortunately, it's an addiction. Like we have a lot of people addicted to getting validation through like, hey, let me post this stuff. Maybe I'm going to get more likes this time. You see? So it's designed in such a way that it increases it creates addiction.
Yes.
You see? So being able to kind of, keep it in mind and not fall into this trap of addiction, I think it takes specific strength of character.
That and just a lot of years on trying to find yourself.
Well, but I think you're doing quite okay, right? You're definitely a discoverable person now, right?
I'm doing a lot better now.
So you found maybe even if you haven't found yourself, then other people found you for sure.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, through what you do, through social media, and through your behavior, your skills on the runway, as well as in the backstage.
Right.
So you have this going. Cool. A couple more, and then I have one gift for you.
Oh.
You see, and it's in my car, so I'll quickly run and back in the very end. Okay, let's talk a bit more on things which I'm trying to understand for myself, and for somebody who is in the industry as well. Like I started doing events, this 2013, which is almost a decade ago. Yeah. So, like, how do you, like, when you see specific like garment, right, specific like piece of clothing, how would you say if it's fashionable or not? Can you even define what is fashionable?
I define fashionable as what makes you happy.
Okay.
The reason why I say this is because everybody has their own style. You could have a goth girl that's like full like black makeup, she does like high like pumps and everything, and she might love being in that body. And if you put her in like a beach body with blonde hair, she's gonna feel different. But what does she feel like her true self would be in? She's probably gonna go for the goth, and she has those friends that she made for being herself in that goth. So they're gonna look at her and be like, yo, I'm not used to that. I'm used to this, and that's who we love you as, So me thinking fashionable, it's literally what you feel comfortable in, what you can represent yourself as. A lot of people use their fashion as their words,
Yeah.
So I feel like fashion is however you want to show yourself, however you want to represent yourself, however you want people to see you. If you want to go in a bathing suit, well, I guess you like summer. So it's if you're comfortable with your body, if you're comfortable with who you are, that also takes place, because there's a lot of people that might like to be covered up and might not show things, or say they have eczema or like something like that, and it's
Yeah.
bad. You know, I had eczema and when I was younger, and it was bad, but you know, you take care of it, and after being covered up in clothes, I'm just like, you know, I got an arm and it doesn't have, you know, eczema. You know, people laughed at it back then. So it's just like, you know, whatever, you're being comfortable in your own skin is fashionable because your skin is who you are.
Confidence, yes.
Very big confidence.
Clearly.
Yes.
So it's a bit less about what you actually wear, but much more about how you feel wearing specific things.
How you feel about it.
Great. And I think you are getting close to I would say how fashion is being created. You see, because there is no like formula. You know, like how they come up with like summer, like spring summer season, and then there's fall winter season, right?
Right.
So you kind of have to change your whole like wardrobe two times per year, right? Just, you know, scrap everything you had before, just, you know, dump it into some like charity or whatever, and get new stuff.
Exactly.
Right. But what's fashionable is it's coming from the confidence of people who create it. So they are confident in the thing that what they are making as of now for the upcoming fashion show, like next week or next month, is going to be fashionable.
Right.
And then in addition to that, there is some mechanism of creating this buzz around that. So if you push in enough buzz into, hey, we have a real secret collection, new collection, you know, the landing next week, you know, looking at the Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week, be there. So you kind of create this kind of buzz, anticipation of new thing, and even if the collection itself is just repetition of what was 10 years ago, right? People will still eat it and believe that that's fashionable.
Of course.
So it's very subjective. There is no like criteria, no formula for what's trending now versus what was trending a year ago.
Right. Like people are now wearing like bell bottoms and flare jeans, or, you know, people want to look like they were back in the 50s or the 60s, you know. So it honestly, it doesn't matter, you know. It's just how it makes you feel, you know. Some people want to wear flowy dresses because, you know, it just makes them feel girly, you know. So it's confidence, you know.
Yeah.
So if you have confidence, then fashion is fashion.
Yeah, I think that's a way to describe it. There are common rules for what clothing is for sure. It's supposed to provide you with protection,
right,
warmth, covers things you don't want to show, and so on. But outside of that, I mean, it's all imagination.
I feel like that's
yeah.
with people covering. Some people are just confident and just
Not covering.
hello. So
subscribe to my OnlyFans.
so hey,
we'll take it off.
well, it'll be up like wherever it will be. But
so that said, you also raised topic of your own confidence and your ability to be comfortable in your own body, regardless of how much, well, to a reasonable extent, regardless of how much of clothing is on your body.
Right.
Right. And for somebody who used to have issues like eczema, right? That's clearly a win over maybe your own predispositions or former beliefs.
Right.
So, are you the kind of person who would manifest your confidence easily, or do you basically? What's your level of like security needs? Like say if it's in the event and it's like we had this swimsuit thing. I would say it's quite safe to do it there, right? Because we'll know that there's security in the venue, right? And the majority of people probably will behave themselves, right? But if it was say in a bit different environment where it wasn't that bright and the audience was a bit less controlled, then you probably wouldn't feel safe to behave in the same way, right?
I would say it's like 50-50 only because like swimwear, you wear it to the beach and there's thousands of people at the beach. So I understand like if you're indoors with a controlled environment of people, you know, Yeah, it's an enclosed area.
Yes.
So I think that still just goes with like confidence. For me, I'm fine because I know how to protect myself, as in like, don't approach me wrong.
With the jump starter cables. For sure.
Don't approach me wrong. Yeah. Other than that, like, if I could wear it to the beach, I mean, what else? You've seen it. You know what I mean? And you've seen there's a whole bunch of other people that are wearing either the same thing. So it's like, yeah, some people are like, I'm underage, I don't want these people seeing it. But it's like, okay, totally understandable. So do you not wear that to the beach when there's thousands of people and you don't know if somebody's taking a picture and you could be in the background? Now your picture's taken. What if it's posted? You know what I mean? Oh, look at that person in the back. So it's like that. It's hard for me to understand a little bit, but I do understand where it's like it could be used for certain things. And that's like a whole different subject. But for me personally, I do have boundaries. And my boundaries are obviously...
That's healthy, yes.
Covering important areas.
Body parts, yes.
So with like swimwear, it's covered. You wear it outside, you wear it inside, you wear it at your house, you wear it at a pool, It's, I gotten finally a little bit low-key comfortable. I think I probably need to still go back to the gym, but I think I'm more confident now than I was when I was younger.
Okay. So swimwear is one example. But
right.
If we
lingerie.
Yes. I kind of wanted to go into this. Do you see yourself doing lingerie at some point?
I have lingerie shoot on my Instagram.
Right. So that's a bit different topic, like, because you don't really you wear lingerie in very specific situation, like it's usually in your bed with somebody who you want to be with, right? So it's more of a.
I have a little different say on that. Yeah, you could use. People use lingerie for like their partners and stuff.
Yes.
But also, I'm not going to speak for all women, but I do feel like some women want to feel more comfortable in their body. And that's a way for us feeling comfortable in our body. Whether we feel like we have rolls, we have stretch marks, we have scars. And to see ourselves looking sexy for us is a whole different level rather than, oh, I'm going to dress up for just this person. I want to take pictures to see myself and be like, dang, that's a beautiful person right there. And that person's me. You don't know if you were shamed for how you looked when you were younger growing up. And now you finally did what you are doing to make yourself look the way you look. And you are proud of yourself. You feel confident in yourself. And this is a way.
That makes sense.
This is a way for us to be like, looking ourselves in the mirror. And if you can't look at yourself for like 20 seconds and be like, wow, you are gorgeous, then there's something that you need to work on. And that's loving yourself, right? So now you're putting on lingerie and you're doing it not for somebody else. You're doing it for yourself. Because if you keep doing it for somebody else, that's what you're going to be doing your whole life, right? You already work for somebody else. Do something for yourself. Put yourself in something and be like, wow, I made it this far. I don't have eczema anymore. I can show off my arms, whatever the case may be. And I think I look gorgeous. And yeah, I would like to have a picture of myself looking proud. Like I'm proud of myself, I put myself in a situation that I feel comfortable.
So you would say that it's...
like a woman empowerment in a way.
Yeah, I understand how it works. So, and again, maybe there are more sides to that, but it's a very powerful feeling.
Right.
When you, in the school age, you were maybe a bit like slightly overweight. Not you. I'm just trying to, because I don't know, I've never met you.
Right.
Back then. Maybe you had like acne or something, or some kind of like other like issues, which led other people reasons to maybe put you down or bully you or anything. And then sometime after, you are on the runway wearing like swimsuit or lingerie and you look amazing. and that person who was bullying you is maybe like now they are overweight, maybe drug addict, or maybe like have 15 kids and that's why they just can't recover at all, and so on. And you're like, well, okay, so who's laughing now?
Exactly.
So that's a very powerful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, is it not part of validation seeking from people who used to put you down?
No, because you're your own critic.
Okay.
You are your own critic. If you are strong enough and you put everybody else and their opinions to the side and you, like I say, look at yourself and you're like, geez, like I have love handles. My arms are like spaghetti or whatever the case may be, like I have a double chin or something like that. You're criticizing yourself. And when you finally like work out, eat healthy, diet, all these extra things, and you see a difference, you're going to stop criticizing yourself and you're going to be proud of what you actually did to overcome that.
Yeah.
So it's not validating from somebody else. It's validation for yourself, of yourself, and for yourself. So that's where I see that as. I know some people might not think the same or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. That's your opinion, and this is mine.
Yeah, in this case, why do people put photos like that on social media? They can just keep it for themselves somewhere in private folder, right?
They could, or they can be like, I'm proud to show what I accomplished. I'm going to post because this is my page. Mm-hmm. If you don't like it, guess what? There's an unfollow button. You ain't got to like it. I could block you. But this isn't for your confirmation. This is me being like, hey, I look good today. Mm-hmm. I'm going to post on my page because it's what I want to do. Nobody's going to tell you how to live your life, right?
Yeah, of course. It's your life.
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't really matter what others think about you.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily, your own perception of yourself drives your mood. Okay, and mood is what, if you're happy about your life, then you're living a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I understand is there is a bit of like narcissistic component for this, again, because of social media kind of bringing it up and amplifying this. But feeling good about yourself is one of the biggest motivators to be happy with where you are and to keep going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of positive reinforcement, which is internal to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why lots of models do what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that confidence that they're like, wow, she looks like color. Wow, she looks like me. Oh my gosh, she has tattoos. I have tattoos. I could be a little bit more confident seeing that there's somebody out there that kind of looks like me, just like you have the Little Mermaid. Mm-hmm. Now you have all these like darker skin. Oh my God, hey, she looks like me, princess. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
yeah, it's funny how Disney didn't really have Disney had all sorts of princesses, mm-hmm. right? Until recently, right?
Right.
And now
you have Princess Tiana.
Yes.
It's like you're venturing out in color and ethnicity, and you have like Mulan. You have, Rapunzel. You have Snow White. You have everybody. And so it's like Jasmine. So it's like different ethnicity and they're princesses. And it's like now you have little kids, hey, I could see myself instead of it just being one specific color, one specific thing. We are venturing out and we're being more diverse. So I feel like that's something that the world needs to just see a lot more, is like more diverse, more getting into involving everybody rather than separating still.
I think people are unique because of what's inside of them,
mm-hmm.
and not because of like labels that society attaches to them. You see, because labels are synthetic,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of that is driven either by politics or by like labeling somebody else because it makes you feel better.
Right.
That's damaging to society. Cool. Yeah, I love it. So I definitely see that you have a mission for what you do. Like folks, if you want to support Laia with her, I think very important visions and statements, follow her page. She has a fundraiser. I'm going to put a link for your fundraiser for your
Thank you.
maybe fifth surgery. Also, what's next for you? Like, what are you doing next outside of photo shoots? What's something big coming up for you? Anything this year, maybe early next year?
What should be wrapping up is LA Fashion Week.
Mhm.
So it's this weekend. I'll be going to LA for Lady MV's Fashion Week.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
So is it like the spring summer season or?
Yeah, it's the spring summer.
Mhm.
It's like kind of like ending summer ish. And so I'll be walking hopefully for Lucinda.
So at some point, I guess March, April, right?
Right. Or the show's this weekend.
The show is this weekend.
Mhm.
I was kind of under impression that if they're trying to stick it within the Fashion Week design, it is March, April, and then September, October.
Mm-mm. I'm not too sure of Lady Envy, but I know she's an amazing person that always does like fashion shows and gets them together. So I'm wanting to meet her, and hopefully I do this weekend and see how that goes. And if you guys follow me, you'll see how it goes too.
Yeah, there is always a reason to do a fashion show.
Mhm.
Okay, they don't have to fit fashion weeks, even though there is a lot of reasons to do it at the fashion week because that's where expectation is,
Mhm.
right? But usually, for a lot of models, it's their bread and butter. And like in your case, you multitask and you do a lot of things together, primarily because you feel passionate about those things, primarily because you have bills to pay, of course. But kind of spreading out fashion shows over the year helps models to gain additional reinforcement for what they do. Do you see yourself doing modeling like 5 years from now?
I do.
And you're going to be in the same kind of like position, or you want to take more of a leadership or organizational kind of role?
More in leadership and organization. I really like helping those and seeing, the turnout and everything more categorized, because being in the backstage, it's hectic. And for it to be a little bit more better and getting that process down, I hope to see myself somewhere where people need me to help organize, but that also won't stop me from actually being a part of it as well, because I love being on the runway and I love being behind cameras. So, I do see
You mean
myself.
behind or in front?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do a lot. Well, part of my business is actually helping people make their content.
Mm-hmm.
So I love doing content for myself and with myself, but making content for other people is what pays some bills. Not all of them, but that brings some money. So if you want to be, say, on a movie set, there is always something going on. I can keep you in mind and invite you to. It's going to be a bit different because it's more like understanding how the production happens.
Right.
And it's a lot about being in the backstage and not being in front of the camera. So you definitely take a bunch of stories, but it doesn't really go into the movie in any way, you see. But the movie is the result of it.
Well, I am also an actor. I've been in a few short films, and
Nice.
I do music videos, and so
You should have IMDb link somewhere.
I do. I should. I will probably send you a link right now.
Yes.
One of the short films is still in progress, but we do have our trailer up. It's Take Good Care.
Sounds familiar. I think there were a bunch of other models there as well. Right.
There's a bunch of other models
I saw the
into it.
trailer. Uh-huh.
So if you go on YouTube and look Take Good Care, there's trailers to it, and hopefully the whole thing will be put together.
Yeah, the link below. Yes, we can do this. Cool. Okay, and then in terms of networking, so what's the right way to approach you?
I feel like I feel like if you say yourself, a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is myself." But I know that some people are like, "Hi, I'm Laia, and your name is." Yeah. I like how you got going on, your style. Your shoes are matching your shirt. Just like something like, not like really start a conversation, but if you come off creepy, like, dang, like, No, it's not gonna fly. That goes out the door. Like, actually come like you're talking to a person. Like, have respect, you know. Come to somebody like you got manners, like your mama taught you well, you know. Just that. Like,
see.
don't try to play or be somebody you're not. And that's
I see. Yes. Yeah, it makes lots of sense. And I think what we are seeing, well, socializing networking requires experience and skill.
right.
And the more you do of that, the better you become in this. Okay. But what we are seeing in a lot of situations where people are a bit less experienced in how they talk, they are talking to you with some second intention or like ulterior motive, you see.
Right.
So like they say they want to like maybe get your phone number and take you out on a date, but instead they're talking, like look at cool work, you see. So you kind of get this vibe that they are not really saying what they think, but they have a different motivation behind that, you see.
Right.
So when you say be yourself, it's more like be genuine. Integrity is highly appreciated, and we don't have enough integrity in this world. And then whatever happens. But coming up to a person with specific motivation and trying to cover this up is not a good approach. And I think that's what you meant by don't approach you wrong.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. If you want somebody to come and talk to you like that, then by all means, but that's not me. You know, I like to be respected and actually talk to as a human being and not like something else. So
I think, guys, this episode showed you that models can be interesting. Models can also do things that not everybody can do. You know, they can maybe kick butts and so on. So there are lots of things.
Well, a huge shout out for Eugene and Sublime, you know.
Thank you.
I appreciate you
Oh, thank you.
inviting me onto this podcast.
Yeah.
Taking the time out of your day to interview me.
No, I loved it.
And helping out each other.
I would be doing this every day. You know, if I didn't have bills to pay, then I would be
Right.
Sure. So similar to you see, like there are things we want to do, and there are things we have to do.
Yes. Priorities first.
I have something for you. So yeah, stay here. I'm going to jump to the car and back.
Okay.
All right. So I want you to open this. I think you will really enjoy.
Let's see.
Definitely kind of fits your other side.
Yeah, I got it.
What's that?
I got some new jumper cables. If y'all get hooked on the side, call me. I got Goodyear jumper cables. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. This was Laia Albert, guys. Follow her, follow us. We are going to come up with more cool content together. Find her on the runway of LA Fashion Week, and then many more things to coming up next year. Cheers. Subscribe. Right?
Yep.
That's it.